Hey guys, and welcome back.
We're Luke and Alicia, and today we are going to give you a tour of our 23-foot Class C RV.
So we spent the last spring, summer, and fall living out of our Class C motorhome here, and we actually took it across Canada and back.
Quite a few of you requested a tour. We should have probably gave you one a long time ago, before the snow arrived in winter here, but it is time for the long-awaited tour.
Yeah, so let's get it started here. So just so you guys know, it's a 23-foot Class C motorhome made by Adventure. It's actually a really popular rental out here on the west coast of Canada, and typically they rent them out and then after a few years they'll sell them to people like us.
And here we are. So let's get started, guys. So starting from the outside, the first hatch behind the entryway door is right down here. This is where we go to turn our propane on and off every time. We have a 60-liter propane tank, and we always turn it on and off before we travel. It's safer to turn your propane off when you travel. That way, if you were to ever get into an accident, all of your propane is turned off to the inside. You don't have to worry about having any kind of issues on the road like that. Moving on from here, if we jump on back, this is where our hot water tank is. You never need to go in there. This compartment here, this is the back side of our fridge. Same thing, we never have to go in there unless you had to work on your fridge or have some mechanical work done. It's just the guts of the fridge. This right here is our furnace, so if our furnace were running, we have it turned off, but the exhaust of the furnace comes out right here. This is our outside AC power. We never actually have used it, but if you were to want to run an outside TV or charge your laptop if you're working outside perhaps, at least you have some power there as well, besides just having to use the inverter, but you would have to have the generator on to access this kind of power without the inverter. Or if you were plugged in an RV park or in a campground that had power, this would work as well, but otherwise you do need to have the generator running to use your regular household appliances and plugins. This is our freshwater tank here. Whenever we pull into a sandy dump station while we're dumping the tanks, we put fresh water in here. It is also a 30-gallon freshwater tank, which we find pretty ample. We can get probably 4 days living out of that boondocking without having to worry about it too much. We're never too conservative with our water either. We use a generous amount when we're doing dishes, so on a 30-gallon tank, we can pretty safely get 3 to 4 days easily there. Now, jumping back here, I am going to warn you, it's a little bit messy in here. When we were traveling across Canada this summer, we went all the way to the most eastern point of North America in Newfoundland. And when we were driving along down the highway, it used to have a plastic table that we used as a shelf, but having our weight of our barbecue and stuff on top of it, the screw broke through the plastic in the table fell down, broke one of our small propane tanks, and set off our propane alarm while we were going down the highway in Newfoundland. So we can flash that up here. It was a little bit dramatic for us, but oh boy, here we go again, guys. We had to make a quick emergency pullover, if you will. We were driving down the highway and then we were both kind of like, is that propane? And then the propane alarm detector started going off. So luckily we had a huge pullover to swerve off into here quick. The alarm's now gone off a second time since we've been outside. We're airing it out right now with all the screen doors and everything and all the windows open, but we solved it, guys. It's not the RV. Thank goodness we don't need help on that one, but it was this portable barbecue.
Be careful.
You see it?
Luke, be careful. It's pouring out.
So, the portable table we have in the RV over here, from a battery charger, a chair, barbecue, stuff, quite a bit of weight. It looks like, yeah, wow. This screw right here, that's the leg for our table. That actually popped out through the plastic. So yeah, the screw came out here and it broke through. The weight fell down and crushed this.
Look, you just opened it and you can literally see the propane fumes. Be careful.
It's fine, babe.
It's combustible.
Not that hot though to light it. Without that table in there now, it's a little unorganized, so you have to stay tuned till spring till we actually get it organized. But we pop this fellow open. Ample storage space in here. We have all of our plug-ins if we're ever going to hook up, our fresh water, all our wood cutting axes, outdoor chairs, outdoor mat, barbecue, the whole works. And if you have the shelves in here right, you can get quite a bit of stuff. We've even talked about looking into building actual shelving units just to help with the organization a little bit more, but stay tuned for that. And it also has an access point from the back as well. So if you were to have your stuff fully packed to the front of the RV here, you can still reach in and put some stuff along the back as well. Maybe you had a fishing rod, maybe if you had some kind of any hiking poles or anything longer, you can slide them in lengthwise as well there. One other thing we have is an awning here. Adventurer actually doesn't rent their RVs with awnings. I imagine they have too many problems with rental units and people not putting them in windstorms and all that. But when we bought our RV, we negotiated to have an awning installed, and we also negotiated to have a ladder installed on the back, because most of them don't have ladders for liability. But check this out, our awning's pretty cool. It actually scissors out, as opposed to some that would normally have the big leg mounts on the sides. So we'll just twist that out here now. I really like this awning. This is a super nice awning. We haven't had any problems with it. We still put it in during windstorms, of course, but it's nice not having those legs. You don't have to duck under it. You don't gotta watch your head. Bear with us in winter here as well. We just got 4 or 5 inches of snow last night, so there's definitely winter in Canada, and we are looking forward to getting back on the road in spring. That's probably enough. We could go more. Voila! Why don't you look at that, hey? Nice awning. I really like the awning. So now we jump around to the other side of the RV. We hop over here. We have 2 storage bays here. One here and one here. These are both actually located below the dinette seats. So the dinette has a little pull-out drawer you can put stuff in and access from the inside. And then instead of making it a super deep drawer, you can actually access it from the outside as well. We typically keep our kitty litter in here because we travel with a cat. Kind of a fun little RV bonus there. We usually buy drinking water as well in the 4-liter bottles, and we store those in this one as well. This one over here, we have nothing really in right now, but this is where I would keep my fishing stuff. I keep my lures and my little tackle box and all that good stuff in here. We didn't really need to even use the storage that much. We had ample storage, honestly, but if you jump on down here, this is also a very large storage bay, but we just keep our black tank hose in here because we don't really need the extra space that much. The black tank hose is in here, right close to where we'll dump our tanks at the back there. There is this little sewer hose compartment here, but it's just a teeny little tube spot, and our hose actually didn't fit in it very well, so that's why we opted to use the compartment bay instead of the actual hose spot. It just made it that much easier to dump efficiently. So in this hatch down here, we have our generator. Being that we like to travel and work boondocking, instead of being hooked up at RV parks, a generator was a must for us for power. If you don't have a generator, your only options are go to an RV park and plug in to get some power, or get driving a lot so your alternator will charge your battery, or invest in solar. We opted for this unit because it has an Onan 4000 generator, and that's been super handy working for us on the road. Generally, we don't need to use it that much if we're driving, like when we went across Canada, but on the days when it's raining and you're inside working on the laptop, it's definitely nice to have the option to use a generator. If your batteries get too low and you're not plugged in, you risk actually killing your batteries if you take them down below 40 or 50%. So it's good to have a generator as a backup, just in case you gotta get a little extra juice for your RV. A nice thing about these generators built in as well, it actually runs off of your truck gas tank, so you don't have to put any extra gas in here for it. We always just make sure when we go camping, we try and keep adequate gas in the RV, ideally half a tank at least, but no matter what, we always have gas for the generator, we can run the generator, and we always have our power needs taken care of. Our RV came with an outdoor shower option as well. This would be good if you had a dog, maybe you were out hiking and you wanted to wash off your pet. Maybe you wanted to give yourself a quick rinse off or something without going indoors. Perhaps you had sandy feet. We actually did use it when we were in PEI after clamming for a quick rinse off, because we did a little bit of clamming when we were out on Prince Edward Island this summer, but that was about our only use for it. But again, that's kind of the thing with RVing. Everyone's got their different needs, and we just didn't happen to use it too much. Gas tanks on the driver's side, and then hopping back here, this is your city water connection. This is what you would use at an RV park if you wanted to hook up for water and you were going to be sitting around for a bit. If you put the water hose onto this, then when you turn on your taps, it'll just directly take from a hose off of this one. The black one beside it here, this is actually just to help rinse out your black tank. If you were to hook a hose onto this, this goes inside to a little sprinkler, if you will. When the water gets going around, it sprays around in your black tank, and it'll help wash out the walls of your black tank and keep it fresh in there, which ties into the gray and black tank. This is where you would just pop this little lid off here, just a nice simple twist, and cap is off. You hook your hose on there, start with your black tank. Once it's empty, close it, then do your gray tank, which is your dishwater. It's going to be soapier and a little fresher, and it washes out your hose. And then you just put this guy back on. This is our power plug-in. It is a 30 amp plug-in here, And we run that when we're going to a big RV plug-in spot. But we also have an adapter for a 15 amp plug-in, so you can plug it into a house as well. That's always nice if you're going back and forth on the weekend. Just come home, plug in your RV, and you're charged up for your next trip otherwise. And then back here, we have yet to use this, but this is where you would plug in your TV. We've never been to a spot that actually has TV plug-ins. Not that we went to too many RV parks or campgrounds, but if you were to go to a place that offers TV, that is an option as well. And with that, that concludes all the outside compartments. Now to jump onto the inside, guys.
Alrighty, so here we are on the inside of our RV. Right now the slide is pushed in still, and we're just going to leave it like that just because we don't want to be pushing it out with all the snow that's on top of there right now. But I think we do have some footage from this summer of us with our slide out and how it changes the room that's in here. But we're just going to start here at the door. So first of all, on the steps here is actually where our house batteries are kept. So they're just under the top step here, and it originally came from the dealer with 2 100 amp batteries, and we actually added one more, I think it's 90 amp AGM battery, but that's as much as it can hold. So unless you figure out a way of storing your batteries elsewhere in the RV, you can only fit 3 12-volt batteries, which is actually plenty in reality, so no problems there. Alright, so when you first enter as well, on the side of the wall here is a pretty simple control panel. It's just one of the ones that lights up with how full your battery is, fresh tank, black tank, and gray tank. Also a switch for the hot water heater, the water pump, and some lights. And then right next to it here is the control panel for the generator. So this is where we start and stop the generator. We don't actually have to go outside and do that, which is a plus. And it lets you know how many hours your generator has run in total. So I'll actually start up the generator here so you can see how loud it is in the RV. It's actually not too bad, to be honest. So first prime it, and then let it rip. So you obviously still do hear it, and it is a tiny bit louder on the outside of the RV, but if you need power, it's not the worst option ever. Alright, and then down at the bottom here is, so this red switch is a master power shutoff. So, for example, when we're storing the RV, we don't want anything drawing on the batteries while we're gone, so we'll flip that off. And then this is just the controls for the slide out too, so that's all down there. Next, I guess we'll just make our way left around the RV. So, we've got the kitchen here. Here we've got our 2-burner gas stove, which has worked really well for us. And then the vent hood, and we've also got a bunch of our magnets that we've collected across Canada. And then up here we've got a microwave / convection oven. Yeah, this obviously you'd have to be plugged in or have the generator running to use, so we honestly don't use it too much, but we've made cookies a few times. It's pretty good. It's always worked out good, so definitely nice having this in here. And it's nice to having this compared to a big propane stove because we've got all this extra storage down here now too. So instead of having a big stove down here, we've got lots of drawers. And then up in this cabinet here is just a big storage cupboard. Literally, it's huge. And we put our espresso machine in there. Lovely. And then our big sink. This is really nice to have for washing dishes. It's really deep, really big. It's a nice sink. Oh yeah, and don't mind, we have like air fresheners and these moisture trap thingies around the RV just for while we're storing it, so they're not normally there. So like I said before, tons of storage here in the kitchen, which is great. We've got 3 big drawers down there, and also under the sink storage where we keep our garbage can, cleaning supplies, dish rack, really just everything. And it's also where we've mounted our inverter. So we had to add that separately. It didn't come with our RV, but we do have a 1000-watt inverter, which means we can run some household stuff off of our house batteries without having to be like running the generator or be plugged in. So that's honestly been a lifesaver for us. Alright, so moving along, we've got our fridge here. So it actually has a freezer and fridge. It's just the basic domestic one that would come in pretty much I think every RV. But yeah, it's huge. We store all of our food in here. Like I said, we were living out of this thing for months and months and months, and we never had any issues with fridge size at all. So, and we've got our Canadian flag up here in the fridge. One of our viewers made us this. Thank you so much, Lori. And then in the back corner here, we have our bed. So it's a pretty like decent sized bed for the size of the RV. And yeah. And then above here actually too is all storage. So we have literally no issues with storage in this thing. So it's great. There's some big deep cupboards and it actually connects all the way through. So that's pretty convenient as well. And then above us here too, we have our fans. So the ceiling fan that we can run at night and it's pretty good white noise for us. And then there's also this little shade that can go over top of it. So if the sun's right over top of you and you don't want the sun coming in, you can shade it off. And then in the bedroom as well is our thermostat. So that's here for the heating and the air conditioning as well. And then back in this corner here is our bathroom. So again, for the size of the RV, it's actually a pretty decently sized bathroom as well. You've got your toilet here and sink and then shower in the back here. And then as well, a bunch more storage here. There's a medicine cabinet, which is always handy to have, and some storage under the sink here as well. So this whole section here, the wardrobe and the dinette that's in front of me as well, is all on the slide out, so it'll all get pushed out when you push the slide out. So it makes plenty of room here to walk around. But this is our wardrobe. So it's obviously empty now, but we did have all of our clothing in here, so we got this little clothing organizer that's really handy to make use of the vertical space in here. As well, we had some hangers to hang up some of our clothing. In these drawers here, we just had a bunch of folded clothes as well. So with the use of 2 pillow drawers and this whole cabinet here, we were actually able to store all of our clothing and had no issues with storage whatsoever. So then this is our dinette area where we do all of our eating and working and all that kind of stuff. There's these drawers on the inside like Luke was talking about, which provide storage for under the dinette. And there's also storage up here. So all of this up here is what we would use to keep our food. So anything that's not in the refrigerator, it went up here. So the dinette also has 4 seat belts as well. On this side there's 2 of these over the shoulder straps, and then on that side of the dinette there's 2 lap belts as well. So if you ever did need an extra bed in the RV, the dinette actually does fold down into a bed. So this table actually just pushes down and then you can rearrange the cushions to make up a new bed. Alright, so last but not least is the bunk area, which is the super fun part of Class C Motorhomes. So this, it kind of like folds up as well if you wanted like to store it away and get into the cab easier, but we actually just keep it down most of the time because we don't really mind it having it down, and also our cat really loves to come up here as well, so she's kind of taken it over. We keep her like scratch post and toys and all that kind of stuff up here, and she also travels up here when we're moving, so this is kind of her area. But when she's not using it, we also use it for kind of like an entertainment area. We've set up a TV mount on the wall here, and then we've also usually put our PlayStation up in one of those pockets up there, so it's like a gaming / entertainment area for us as well. Another really cool part about this RV is it has a skylight up here. So obviously it's getting dark now, but when it is sunny, this thing is white, so it really lights up and brings a lot of natural light into the RV, which we could really use a lot of the time. That's a bonus, I love that. And it also has one of these like sunshades that you could cover it if you wanted to.
And here we're up in the cab. This cab is a Ford E350 V10, so it was pretty good power for us going up the hills. A few of the big hills like the Coquihalla and the mountains in the area were a bit more of a climb for it, but overall got us across Canada and back pretty good. It has a reverse backup camera built in actually on the display here. That's been a lifesaver reversing because it's been a bit of a change not having a rear view mirror. I've actually only ever really driven cars in life, so this was my first upgrade to a truck, and honestly, being a 23-foot RV, it wasn't much of a problem to drive and back around. We've even been able to park in single car parking stalls sometimes. One time we went to the Anytime Fitness in Regina, we actually backed into a corner stall and we were able to overhang over the curb, and you can take up one little old stall. We thought we'd need a Class B to go around cities, but even with a 23-foot Class C RV, parking it and getting around town was a breeze for us in the end, so that was a nice bonus as well. We get all the extra living space and we can still park in one parking stall if we need to. We've had a few of you ask about the quality of the Adventurer as well. And I would say overall we've been pretty satisfied with this unit. It is an entry-level RV, being a rental RV as well, but I would say in terms of what you have to pay for an RV like the Adventurer compared to some of the fancier ones with all the bells and whistles, this one's been a pretty great RV for us getting across Canada and back this year.
Yeah, I would say you definitely get what you pay for. Being that this RV is fairly inexpensive in comparison to some of the other models out there that do have all the bells and whistles, you can't really complain. We knew what we were getting into when we got this RV. We knew that it didn't have every single bell and whistle, but it does have what we need, and it generally works pretty well. We have had some issues with our RV. A couple of things have broken and stopped working on us. For example, our slide out had stopped working on us. We were halfway through Canada. The actual main door, the door handle broke on us, which is actually really common with any RV. And a couple of other little things that have broken on us, but honestly, you can expect that from any RV. I don't think that it's necessarily Adventurer's fault or the materials or equipment that was used in this RV. I just think, you know, things break, and really RVs aren't meant to be lived in full time, and we put this thing through the ringer, so it's to be expected.
Wear and tear, bumpy roads, all of those things. When we had the one issue with the slides awning, that was when we were going down a bumpy dirt road in the back roads of Manitoba through a national park, so I think it comes with the territory to expect to have to do a few handy little maintenance jobs here and there, but
alright, so I think that's everything that we had to say about our Adventurer RV here. If we missed anything, or if you have a question about anything, please let us know in the comments down below and we'll be sure to get back to you.
subscribe if you're new, of course, and you're enjoying the channel. We're going to go through winter here, and then spring 2020 we still have some big adventures, so make sure you join along for that. And we will catch you guys in the next video then otherwise. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time guys, bye!
See ya!